What kind of experience is it when a woman just goes to the toilet and doesn't close the door? It turns out that the woman Xiaomei is the daughter of the uncle's brother. Because her father went to Japan for development, he had to entrust her daughter, who is still in school, to his care. So some embarrassing things often happen. Since she hasn't adapted to Xiaomei's arrival, in order to make up for her mistakes, the uncle took advantage of Xiaomei's school to wash his personal clothes. But this scene happened to be bumped into by Xiaomei when she came home, which made him mistakenly think that the uncle was a pervert, but he got the opposite answer from his father. Xiaomei, who was on guard for her own personal safety and for the two of them to get along better in the future, so she proposed 3 chapters with the uncle. First, you can't enter and exit his room casually. Second, the toilet door should be repaired quickly. And third, his clothes can't be moved casually. Otherwise, don't blame him for turning his face and not recognizing people. The uncle swore that there was no problem, and he forgot about it the next day. Taking advantage of Xiaomei's school, he entered his room without authorization to clean up, and accidentally knocked the basket full of clothes to the ground. In order not to cause Xiaomei to misunderstand, the uncle could only fold the clothes, but unexpectedly stepped on Xiaomei's pocket watch. The unlucky uncle could only confess to Xiaomei, hoping to get his understanding. Xiaomei, who learned of this, was very angry and refused to forgive the uncle. I learned from my brother that this pocket watch was a relic left by Xiaomei's mother. The uncle, who learned the truth, came to Xiaomei's room again to apologize, but this time Xiaomei made up her mind to move away from the uncle's house. After all, the uncle was not only a pervert who practiced items for Xiaomei, but also a bad guy who stepped on his mother's belongings. Since then, Xiaomei, who had not yet found a rental house, was a stranger to the uncle, even though she still lived under the uncle's roof. Xiaomei, who was returning home from school, was unfortunately confronted by the school bully who liked him. This scene happened to be bumped into by the uncle who came home from get off work. One evening, however, since Xiaomei had made it clear that they had nothing to do with each other earlier, the uncle could only endure the heartache and silently turned away, fearing that his intervention would make Xiaomei even more disgusted. But since that night, every time Xiaomei went home, her injuries became more and more serious, and the uncle, who witnessed Xiaomei being bullied repeatedly, the anger in his heart was finally uncontrollable. He put on his protective gear and went straight to the 3 school bullies who were bullying Xiaomei and knocked them down with 1 enemy and 3 forces. In order to completely end this nightmare, the uncle took out a sharp dagger and decisively picked off the toes of the 3, leaving them to spend the rest of their lives in the mountains. However, the legal network was restored, and the uncle knew that his actions had violated the law, so he took the initiative to surrender to the police. Fortunately, the 3 school bullies had been punished as badly as Uncle Nan on weekdays. After the incident was exposed, the former victims came forward one after another to do this for the righteous uncle, which aroused the public indignation of the whole society. In the end, the uncle got the opportunity to reduce his sentence, and Xiaomei finally let go and forgave the uncle. In the blink of an eye, 3 years later, the uncle was released from prison and returned home. To his surprise, he found that the house was still as tidy as ever, and Xiaomei had never left. Brother Gleb with his hair, you can compare it. You have passed the CDS in Guangzhou district. Oh, I sat in the kitchen. The audience said that I was the one who went on the bridge during this period. They were black. I don't dare to talk about antiques. He called his nephew Antiques. He sat on the pat and sat on the brush. Oh no, 3 mosquitoes went to drop pigs one by one. Oh, but don't know what's while I am.